welcome to my YouTube channel. Finally, I've been wanting to start my YouTube channel for a long time now, but I just didn't do it. But anyway, I've started and I'm really excited to take you guys on this journey with me to just show you how I live my life. I think honestly a big reason why I want to do it is just to have those memories of my life in a form that I can like revisit in like 10 years, 5 years from now. And I hope it can just be a space where you also can just, you know, feel free to be yourself and yeah, to just come along this journey with me, this crazy journey called life. Yeah. So, first things first, my name, for those of you that don't know, my name is Nomakosi and I am from South Africa. But I currently do not live in South Africa, I live in Vietnam. And yeah, so what am I doing in Vietnam? We'll find out later. I always try to start my day with a cup of green tea, which is something that my mom used to do like every day, habitually every day. And it's funny, you know, because now I'm starting to sort of like turn into my mom a bit because I be drinking green tea every day. But it's healthy, it's good for you, so yeah, it's not a bad habit to pick up. Apologies for if the sound of like the outside world really infiltrates through the speakers, through the sound. It's just like, it's not even like that loud, but it's just very, very audible, I guess. I should write down things that I do want to talk about when I make these videos. It'll probably help me just structure my videos a bit better. But this point is me talking about. Okay, so now let's talk about why I am living in Vietnam. Okay, so I've been living in Vietnam for about 7 months now. Yeah, 7 months, and I moved back from home, back in South Africa like 7 months ago in October 2022. Yeah, and I had my 21st birthday in Vietnam, and that's just, yeah, it's a crazy, just how everything just worked out is super crazy. If you had asked me this last year in 2022 at this time, on June, whatever, what I'd be doing, I would have definitely not said that I would be, yeah, that this would be my life. I definitely would not have said that. So let me just give you guys a little background info. So I graduated university last year. Well, my final year officially was in 2021. I did a degree, that was 3 years, I finished that. And then my graduation ceremony was in 2020, so I graduated. But obviously before then, I had like a little summer job for like 3 months, where I worked at this really cool acro branch site thing. It was really intensive, but yeah, I think everything happens for a reason. It just taught me to have a lot of patience with myself, especially with others. Yeah, but it was a good 3 months. Just, you know, everything happens for a reason. But yeah, so after that was after I finished. That was like from December 2020 to like February 2022. So that was like that little 3-month period. And then after that, well, obviously didn't have a good job. I was, you know, finished with my studies in university. And yeah, so one of my mom's colleagues at work told her about this thing called teaching English abroad. And my mom was like, oh, you should do that, you know, just do the certificate, maybe, you know, try it and see what happens. And I was like really resistant to it for like a while. I was resistant to it because I was like, no, I don't want to do teaching, I don't want to teach, you know, that's That's not what I'm about. Like, I don't want to be teaching kids. I mean, because yeah, that's just not what I wanted to do. Anyway, so I gave it a bit of thought, and I was like, because back home there wasn't like a lot of job opportunities anyway. So if I didn't do it, what was I gonna do? You know. So I looked into it, and I did the certificates. It took me about, but by the way, this was still like sort of like during COVID times as well. So, but it took me about like four and a half months, 4.5 months to finish my certificate. And after that, I started applying. I think I finished my certificate around like this time, maybe June, July. Yeah, I finished my certificate around this time, June, July. And then I started applying. I did this all by myself. I didn't use an agency or anything like that, which people always ask as to like how I got the job. I didn't use an agency. I just did it myself, just looking at, you know, online job searches, jobs of, you know, for teaching English. And people always ask why I chose Vietnam. So once I started thinking about like teaching, or I knew that just like in the beginning of 2022, I had set myself like a little manifestation goal. I'm just trying to think where my journal is. Right then. And I had written this down in my journal that I'm going to be moving abroad this year. And that was before I knew anything about the teaching English as a second language thing. I hadn't known really about that before then. But yeah, I just knew that I wanted to travel this year and just had to travel. So I tried my hand in different things, and a couple of different things that would allow me to travel. So I filled out an au pair application. That was one of my options, and I was doing TEFL certificates as well. I feel like I had a third option, but I forgot. I always feel like I forget this third option, but no, I forgot. So I had those two options and something else that I can't remember. So I did the au pair thing, and that helped me like speed track some of my process, because I didn't have a passport at the time. I didn't have a driver's license, which are things that you need to like live and go abroad, or that I needed. I didn't have any of those things, but with the au pair application, I needed to have those things. So that helped me like get those things done. So I just, you know, did the whole process of getting my driver's license and my passport. So I did all of that. And then I went to like Durban to have like an interview. So like everything was moving along with the au pair application, but deep down I knew that this ain't it. This isn't really what I want to do, you know. But it's, you know, it's an opportunity for me to go abroad, but it's not really what I want to do. It doesn't get me excited as much, because with being an au pair, you'll be living under someone else's roof, and you won't have as much freedom as you do as living on your own, you know. And this was going to be an au pair to go to the States, and yeah, I didn't really want to go to the States. Where I wanted to go was Southeast Asia. This is where I wanted to be. I don't know why, but I guess it just felt cool to Southeast Asia. I don't know. I saw something the other day that said like people think of like the East as a way of like a spiritual learning ground. So it's kind of like takes away from the East, because the people of the West think that, you know, the East is just for that only. But I don't know. But there's just something about the East that has, I think it's just a very spiritually rich part of the planet. There's just something undeniable about it. But anyway, that's off topic. What was okay? So I did the okay thing, but I wasn't as excited about that. And then I started my certificate with the TEFL. Yeah, I did that within 4.5 months, and it wasn't hard. But it's just completely new because obviously I didn't study teaching. It was just a completely new information that I was learning. But there's a lot of teachers in my family, so that helped to have them and be like, what is this, da 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 da. But even if you don't have teachers in your family, it's really not that difficult. So I did that, and so that was like June, July, I finished it. And then August, September, then like July, August, September, I was applying, not like consistent. Well, in the beginning, I was every day just consistently applying, looking at job portals, sitting on my CV, cover letters, the whole 9 yards. And oh my god, we all know how freaking draining it is to send out CVs. It's a really draining. So I was doing that, but I wasn't doing it like every day. Well, it came to a point where I just stopped applying because I was so drained. I just stopped, and I was just like, just stop. Probably had like 1 week where I just didn't send out applications because I was just like so over it, strained. And then it just came to a point where I felt like this is it, and I just stopped. And lo and behold, so something told me to just stop. Now it's fine, it's good. And so I stopped. And then maybe like a week later, I got an email back, and I had an interview. This wasn't my first interview. I had like an interview before, and it was again like I was only applying to like Southeast Asia, but I was putting out a couple out there in like China, for example. But I didn't really want to go to China. I was just doing that as like a backup, I guess. But I didn't really want to be in China. I wanted to be Southeast Asia. That's like Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia. That's kind of where I just wanted to be. So yeah, I had like my first interview was, I don't remember for which country, but it was an odd interview. But during the interview, this is so funny. During the interview, the interview was going well, I think. And then somewhere in the middle of the interview, we talk, the interviewer and myself were talking about food and like having different like cultural experiences with food, and how I feel about that, like if I'm willing to like try new food and da 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 da. And I was like, oh yeah, I am interested, but the big but is I have a dietary restriction, because I'm vegan, so I can't exactly eat everything. And that was the point where it just flipped, literally, like it just flipped. I don't know what happened. The guy got so passionate about it. He just wasn't really having it that I was vegan, or he didn't really he didn't understand why I was vegan, why. He was just very passionate about it, and he got really just riled up. And I was just there like, well, he was like, is it a lifestyle choice, or like why am I just choosing to do that? So it was like a little back and forth, but obviously I was trying to remain like respectful, obviously, because I'm having an interview. But he kind of crossed that boundary, I think. He actually did. But needless to say, I didn't get the job. I don't know if it's because of that, the veganism thing. But yeah, it was an odd experience. And then my mom was like, maybe just don't tell people in your interviews that you're vegan, because we had that one experience, and that, flip the switch. But I was like, that's a big part of who I am, though. You know, if you ask, like, that's a big part of who I am. But we were like, okay, lesson learned. We'll see how it goes. Then I had my next interview. Oh yes, I remember the third thing now. Yeah, there you go. The third thing was I wanted to be a teaching assistant in Spain. Yes, there we go. That was actually my first interview. Yes, so I had these three options. One was doing this TEFL certificate. One was being an au pair in America, and one was being a teaching assistant in Spain. Yeah. I was really excited about the Spain thing. I was really, really, really excited because I love Spain and I really wanted to go to Spain. I still want to go to Spain and I will go to Spain. But yeah, that was I had an interview for that first. Yes, I remember I had just got back from I was at the gym actually, and I remember looking at the email and I was like, oh my god, this is happening. I was so excited. Then I had the interview with the lady. Yeah, but I didn't get it, obviously. But it kind of instilled some life back into me. But yeah, so I had those three options, and I was like, there's no way that one of these options isn't gonna work out. Like, there's just no way. One of them is going to work out. So I put my eggs in different baskets, and yeah, I just knew that there's no way that it's not gonna work out. But I kept it quiet, and yeah, it worked out. But anyway, fast forward, I get the third job interview, and I had my interview. It was like an hour long with this company in Vietnam, the one that I work for currently. And that was on a Friday, and I remember that was a week when my cousins were visiting me, because we hadn't seen each other through all of COVID, so all of 2020, a lot of 2021. We hadn't seen each other in a long time. We hadn't had sleepover in a long time because sleepover was a ride. That was a week we spent together. It was so fun, but we didn't know that would have been the last week that we ever got to spend together. Yeah, but anyway, it was a good time. But my cousins were there, and I went into my bedroom and I had the interview, and they were in the living room. They were pumping me up. They were like, "Yeah, you got this, da 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 da." And so I had my interview for an hour, and then that was on a Friday. And then I finished the interview. I was like, "Oh yeah, I went good," back to normal. And then on Monday morning, I checked my emails, and I had gotten the job. And again, one of my cousins was there. The other one was still outside, and my brother had went to the gym, and my mom was at work. But one of my cousins, Melody, was there, and she just cried. She just cried, and because she was really excited. Yeah, she was just really emotional for me, and for me it hadn't sunk in yet. I was like, I got the job, but it hadn't sunk in, and it actually didn't really sink in that I'm leaving until the night before when I had my breakdown. But yeah, and then so now Melody and I had a moment, and then my brother came back from the gym, and I waited for him to come back inside, and then I told him the news, and then we just embraced, and yeah, it was really exciting. And then my other cousin Amanda came, and I told her, and then it was also a whoop whoop. Yeah. And then the big thing when my mom came, that was, I wanted to see her reaction, because that's such a big moment, leaving home, going very far. And my mom and I are super tight, super tight. Yeah, but I wanted to see her reaction, because I wanted her to be proud of me, which I know she's already super proud of me. But yeah, I just wanted to see her reaction. And so when I told her, like the first thing she thought about was like, oh my gosh, where am I gonna get the money from? Oh, and the thing was, I had like less than 3 weeks to get ready to leave, so it was like a very boom. Okay, luckily, like I said, I had my driver's license and my passport, so that was like great that I had those, but I still needed to do like a couple of other very important steps that I hadn't started because I mean, we knew that it was something that was gonna happen, but we didn't know how soon it would happen. Yeah, so you need to get stuff like your police clearance done, and you need to get your documents like your degrees, your TEFL certificates, like legalized and all of that to make sure that they're legit. I hadn't started that process because again, didn't know which country I was going to, you know. Can't really do that without knowing where you're going. So yeah, we had to do all of that. Had to to accept the job offer, I had to book a plane ticket to Vietnam and then send it to them, and then that way they would then start filling out the paperwork for my visa. So I had to book a flight, then they will, you know, get my visa ready. So we had to do that ASAP. And then yeah, then we had to get money for me to relocate. Like I said, this wasn't something we were expecting to happen, and we thought maybe we would have like 2 months or so to like prepare, or like time to prepare, but had less than 3 weeks to prepare. And yeah, it was full on stressful, but yeah. But yeah, and less than 3 weeks later, like the night before I had to leave, maybe 2 nights before I had to leave, I'm not sure. No, it was the night before. I was in my room and just things weren't really working out. Like, because I hadn't gotten my police certificate yet. It just took forever. And yeah, I think it was a Friday and I was leaving on Thursday? No, maybe Monday? Was it Monday? Yeah, I think it was a Monday. And I was going to Johannesburg to get to the airport. But I needed to leave home a little earlier because I needed to get my visa and stuff and go to the Vietnamese embassy in Johannesburg to sort out a couple of things. So we had to leave home a little earlier, and then we had to spend the night in Johannesburg. But yeah, so before that on that Monday, I didn't have my documents ready. I didn't have my police certificates. I couldn't send out my documents because I was waiting for my police certificates that also needed to be like legalized and all of that. So it was very stressful because my documents weren't in order and I had to leave in like 3 days. Yeah, it was really stressful and I just had like a full-on breakdown. And I felt like my brother and my mom literally uprooted their whole lives to make this happen for me. Literally gave an arm and a leg for me to be able to have this opportunity. It just did so much for me in so many ways. And it just, like, the gravity of that situation really hit me. And I was just like, I don't even want to go anymore. Like, I was literally at that point, I was just crying, like, I don't want to go. Like, everything is just so difficult, and you guys have done so much for me. I just feel guilty, and they're all like, no, girl, you gotta go. You're going to go. Everything will be fine. And they just, you know, they really helped me. They really did, literally help me. Yeah, but obviously I went. It came. I'm glad I went, obviously, but that was just like a little moment of like But like the whole time I wasn't nervous about it at all. Like I was not nervous about moving to like halfway across the world. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't scared at all. I was just really excited. Even when I got here, I was like, yeah, I wasn't nervous at all. But yeah, and so that is what I do. I teach English as a second language. Yeah. That is my little story time. Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Something that I've really learned is that anything is freaking possible. Everything and anything that you dream of, it is possible. You don't really need to have all the answers at this moment of like how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. You just have to believe in yourself, in your dreams. Literally just believe in yourself. Tell yourself that you are um worthy of achieving your dreams, worthy of you're worthy of it all. You deserve to live the life of your dreams. I know the type of life that I want to live, and yeah, I'm getting there. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there, working towards my goals. But again, I'm still young, I'm still young. There's a lot of time left to explore, try out new things. If that doesn't work, all right. If this works, great. This is the time to explore, to find out what you really want to do. If you ask me what I really want to do with my life, I don't know. I honestly have zero clue. I can't tell you what I'll be doing in a year from now. Again, that's just how crazy life is. Like literally a year ago, no clue that I would be here. No clue. So, you can only hope that the things that you want will happen, but sometimes life will surprise you. Life will always surprise you and give you something so much better than you ever expected. Sometimes it'll be really shit, but you'll get to the really good spot. I'm in a good spot right now. But it wasn't always like that.